Howdy folks, Kathy Williams-DeVries here, and continuing on in my series Introduction to All the Keys of the Scale. We now come to 3 sharps, A major and F sharp minor. Now for the purposes of these videos I'm actually using 4 sources. The first source that I would recommend that you go to, because it groups the scales together in their keys, is the Thurston, the clarinet. It's really good. It has the scales, the broken chords, the interrupted scales, both major and minor, and the scales in thirds. And I'm also using some of the Klose hardback method. It's got some additional scales in here, including the interrupted scale at the octave, which is absolutely brilliant, and scales in sixths. And then a hybrid of the two with a few extra is the Baermann method for clarinet division 3. So what we're looking for in A major, the 3 sharps, F, C and G, so that you need to make the connection between the low B and the C sharp. And the returning scale from the Baermann is very good for that. Also very good in the interrupted scale and the returning scale is the workout for the left hand, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. And then you've got F sharp to G sharp in the upper octave. And of course, although you'll find that in the Baermann and Thurston it only goes up to a top F sharp. F sharp minor is quite interesting. In the both the melodic and harmonic minor, you have to deal with B to C sharp to D sharp. Or sorry, that's not right. Or and you'll come across that in the interrupted scale, although they don't do the minor keys in the Baermann of the returning scale. So what you're dealing with is a D sharp and an E sharp. So let's go through. In terms of, I'm looking at the Thurston now and comparing it to the Baermann, and it's pretty much exactly the same. So do remember that because you're going down to a low E, and you're using the G sharp to use the right hand, E, left hand F sharp, right hand G sharp. And you might even want to practice that to get that really strong. So there's no real I've already told you the various little tricky bits, but no real drama there. F sharp minor. Doesn't really matter which. When you come down, make sure that you do use the left hand F sharp so that you can do the right hand E sharp, going back to the F sharp and then on to the G sharp. So there's no real drama there. And as I said, with the interrupted scale, there are a couple of bits that you can practice, certainly the first 4 notes, so that you get a really nice transition between the B and the C sharp. And then between the D to G sharp and E to A, you've got that left hand work. That's actually a really, really good exercise to practice. In the Thurston, the finger exercise suggested between the A, G sharp and B, you really get it really smooth between the B and the G sharp. And believe me, you do it a little bit faster, you'll understand what the difficulty is. And then the other one is in the throat tones. Again, that is a really, really powerful left-hand exercise, and I do recommend that you get the Longinus method, because that has it's about a 4-page exercise on the left-hand study, and I have a YouTube video out on that as well, going through that. Very, very powerful. But in terms of the A major, be aware, don't have the E flat key down for the C sharp, that'll be too sharp. And something I didn't mention on the D major scale is getting a really smooth transition between the B and the C sharp, but also between the A and the C sharp. And in fact, the top octave is really good. Again, the transition between the G sharp and the F sharp is also something to work on, but apart from that, there's no real dramas there. F sharp minor, on the other hand, is a little bit of a doozy, because in the Thurston and Baermann, we do the melodic. The Thurston and the Baermann tend to prefer the melodic over the harmonic. The Klose does give you the choice. So in this case, really good pinky exercises. Really, really challenging. Again, use the left hand F sharp, but we're going A, B, C sharp, D sharp to a B. And I forgot to mention that when you are doing the E sharp, to go to the F sharp, you will need to put on the 2 right hand side keys. That's the alternate fingering for the F sharp. It's the chromatic fingering for the F sharp. We mightn't have needed to use it up until now, but it's a very good fingering. Although in this case you may need to use the normal F sharp in order to get down to the D sharp. I probably recommend that you use the regular fingering actually, now that I've completely contradicted myself. But really, really powerful exercise. From the D sharp to the B, and then this is really brilliant. I recommend that when you practice your scales, don't practice the whole scale. do take the bit that's giving you grief. And here in the next octave you will need to use the right hand B, left hand C sharp to get to the right hand D sharp. And here, unless you have this extra key and don't mind using it, I do recommend that you slide the finger down, slide the right hand finger down to the B, otherwise you won't get to the D sharp. And here I do recommend that you use the normal F sharp because you have to get down to the D sharp. And here be very clear, don't put the E flat key down for the C sharp, but it's all right on the way down. So here we depart from the Thurston and Baermann, and we go to the Klose and the interrupted scale at the octave. Very, very challenging. There are videos of me doing this warm-up if you wanted to search for them. Now the Klose is grouped like the Baermann on scale type rather than scale key, so you do have to go looking for it. I don't think there's any real dramas with A major. And people ask me, why do you practice all these scales? I say it's really good for your sight reading because you get to completely know a key in and out, so that when you see a key signature at the front of the music you know what to expect. So when you see 3 sharps, it's like, great, I've done half a dozen different versions of the A major scale, not necessarily starting on the tonic. And that's why I find these scales interrupted at the octave so powerful, because you are starting the scale on every single note of it, but you have to remember to keep in the key. So that's why I like these. Thing is, it only goes up to the clarion A. You're not working in the altissimo. F sharp minor, very, very challenging. I mean, the melodic's not too bad. In this case, I would use the regular F sharp fingering so that you can get down to the G sharp. If you use the chromatic fingering, it's messy, especially when you go fast. And I probably added in a sharp there, naughty me. Remember the which pinky to put down. But what's nice with the melodic scale is that you get to do the major scale on the way down, which is what makes the harmonic so challenging. Etc. Sorry, I'm not doing this very well today, but you get the general idea. And then once you've done the interrupted scales, you then have the returning scale. Again, you can really work on the smooth connections between C sharp B and G sharp F sharp. Remember not to put the E flat key down for the top C sharp, and you get a nice little workout both in the throat tones and pinky keys. I'd say the first octave is actually brilliant. both a left hand workout and a pinky workout. In fact, my clarinet could probably go into the repairer. My pinky keys are a little bit stubborn, but what you've encountered on the way up, you encounter on the way down. Okay, so once we've got through those, I think it's time for the arpeggios and broken chords. I don't think there's any huge difficulties in these ones. Remember, don't put the E flat key down. I tend to like using the right hand E because it kind of keeps it in the same hand. F sharp minor. You can choose what F sharp you want. I quite like the overblown B flat. So that's the first of the broken chords in the Baermann and Thurston. So there's no real dramas there. But after you've done your interrupted scales and before you do your returning scales, you have the broken chords number 4 on page 16, and these are a little bit harder. Well, maybe not the A major. Again, make sure you take that E flat key off. And you can practice this one slowly, the second half, when it goes into the sixth. I do recommend practicing scales in sixths as legato exercises. In the F sharp minor, I don't recommend you use the overblown B flat as the top F sharp because you are going from an A. It'll probably turn out just as a B flat. I like to use 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 E flat. It's a little bit more difficult. Okay, so I did use it there, but I tongued it. And in this case I would continue to use that fingering. Although you could use the overblown B flat the second time around. So, for your, what else do we have? Oh yes, we have, or the diminished would just start on an A flat, which is the same as the one that starts on an F. We have chords of the 7th. I don't think there's any real drama with A major. Do remember that you will need to use the left hand E to get to the right hand G sharp. Oops. It does give you a chance to trot out a high B. I prefer 1, 2, 1, 2 E flat. to the next part, I do recommend you practice it slowly. We want really smooth legato connections between the notes. But other than that, there's no real dramas for a major. And then we come to the thirds. I do take the thirds from the Baermann and Thurston, although there is a good thirds exercise, which for me is on page 168 and 169 of my Klose, although I don't think they sell the hardbacks anymore. So A major, main difficulties getting actually it's really good. It's really good pinky work. Harder than you think. You try it. The thirds for F sharp minor is quite challenging, especially if you are doing the harmonic. Although the you need really good, and especially in the melodic, really good connections between the D sharp and the C sharp. And really good pinky work there. And then of course you've got the normal one. Remember, take that pinky off. I don't think there's any real dramas there. As I said, good pinky work, good left hand work, and it gets even better the next scale, the next degree of the scale. But and here you will need to slide to the E sharp in order to get to the G sharp. And you can tell that I really need my pinky keys looked at, because they're a little bit clunky. But as you go up, now this octave is really difficult, because you go from the D sharp to the C sharp and then up to an E sharp. I find going from C sharp to D sharp quite challenging. It's really, really finicky, especially when you've got to factor in the E flat key. So that's quite challenging. So from the thirds, you then come to your scale in sixths. This is in the Baermann, page 41 for me. These scales are brilliant done slowly. The top F sharp, I recommend the fingering I used earlier. I wouldn't recommend you do it any faster, especially try and get a really smooth connection between the B and the G sharp. Be aware that in order to get to the G sharp, you will need to use the right hand B. And then getting up towards the top again. And then F sharp minor, the use of the melodic minor does give you some really strange harmonies that'll tempt you to go into F sharp major. Now this is quite difficult. This also cropped up in a grade 5 piece that I'm teaching a student for an exam at the moment. D sharp to B. You will need to use the, well, you can use either. I prefer to use the right hand B because it keeps it in the one hand. Quite difficult. Note that I give more weight to the bottom note so that you get a nice legato. There is also a exercise in 6 in the Klose. I think there's a couple, in fact. Or is there just one for the majors and one for the minors? Okay, there's just one for the majors and one for the minors. And there's a really powerful octave exercise on the next page as well. So for A major, I don't worry about the articulation. I slur it all because I use it as a tone exercise. F sharp minor. This has got the really nasty stuff. The B to D sharp, which is not easy. And a lot of clunky pinky finger work. It's really, really nasty. So these shouldn't sound, I mean, I'm trying to make them sound as beautiful as possible. Obviously they're very, very difficult. And once I've finished all the scales, I'm actually going to introduce you to the Klose as a warm-up and study tool on its own. But that is A major and F sharp minor for you. I hope you've gotten something out of that. Any questions, don't hesitate to contact me on any number of my emails, Skype, Twitter, Facebook. I'm on it all. And don't forget to friend me on Facebook if you like. I've also got a page, kathywilliams76 on Facebook, you can like. Twitter is kathywilliams76, Skype is kathywilliamsdevries, but I'll put this at the bottom of the video. So, that's A major and F sharp minor. Join me for, I think I'm due to do 3 flats and all the fun and games you have with 3 flats. So thanks for listening, bye for now.